Have you ever had a moment where you looked at something you've achieved and realized, wait, this is actually pretty amazing? No? Well, I've had such a moment recently. I had made something impressive with very little experience beforehand. At least, I consider it impressive. I had made my own Discord bot, complete with a command system, a currency system, and many fun commands. It now entertains the members of my own Discord, which I will definitely not urge you to join. In fact, I demand that you do not join it through the link that I forgot to exclude from the description. Thanks, much appreciated. Oh, and by the way, the mask I'm wearing here is to distinguish myself from the many developers who talk to the camera without a stylish self-made mask. It's based on the old Discord logo, because it's much better than the new one. Don't at me. I said don't at me! Anyways, where did all of this start? My most successful series on this channel, and the only one which gets any views, is my Unitel Crash Course. After the first 3 episodes did really well, I decided to make a Discord. I started talking to one of the members, known as Light, and we soon became friends when I helped them set up their own Discord. We began talking about bot development, and one day they messaged me the following. Hi, I am making a bot. Wanna help? This simple question set in motion the events that would eventually lead to the creation of the creative bot. We quickly started brainstorming ideas for the bot, like which command prefix to use, how a leveling system would look like, and came up with the Skele credits currency, because Light was called some very epic skeleton at the time. I even tried to teach them how to use GitHub, with moderate success. It's a service that can host code and make collaboration easier for developers. More on that troublemaker later. Since we were both developing our own bots at the time, we even considered having a bot off? In the end, only my bot survived though. We soon got the bot up and running with some very basic functionality. It could reply with pong when someone said ping, which is already close to a professional bot. Here's what the code looked like at that stage. By the way, I've censored these images as they include the most important thing to a bot developer. Something that when shared with the wrong person can be incredibly dangerous. More on that later. An early roadblock I faced while developing the bot was the addition of a slot machine command. You see, I was trying to imitate actual slot machine behavior in Discord. One core part of their behavior is that they take a while to display the result of your spin. After spinning, you wait eagerly for the result, which determines whether you will be living in a mansion or under a bridge for the rest of your life. I wanted to replicate that feeling with my Discord slot machine. My solution was to send a message and edit it for the next few seconds to simulate the slot spinning. Thing is, I had never dealt with delays in JavaScript code before. All the other commands just sent a message immediately without changing said message afterwards. And this led to my first encounter with promises. Not promises like in that mysterious real life I keep hearing about, but code-related ones. When sending a message through code, the function that sends the message returns a message object. This object contains all the information about a message and can be used to edit the message afterwards. Thing is, the message object can only arrive after the message has been sent, which takes a bit of time. So instead of returning a message object directly, the function instead returns a promise of a message object. Because of that, you can't immediately edit a message in code. Instead, you will have to wait for the message object before you can access its properties and functions. The neat way is to simply put an await in front of it, basically to await the message object. Unfortunately, I didn't know that at the time, and used the then function, which led to some slightly cluttered code. I used the await variant now, because it's much cleaner. There's another command that I want to mention. It wasn't very difficult to make, but has a funny origin story. I'm talking about the Obama command. You heard that right, an Obama command. It can generate an Obama image with some custom text. Rather basic as image manipulation is concerned, but still pretty neat and funny in my opinion. This command only came to be because I initially implemented a rect command, which simply displayed an image of Obama that I found while searching rect. It was my first attempt at displaying images and somehow evolved into the Obama command, all because of an image I used for testing. Remember the censored image from earlier? I said that it contained the most important thing to a bot developer. Something that you should only share when absolutely necessary and only with the right people. I was talking about the login token. There are two types of accounts on Discord. Normal user accounts that all people use and bot accounts, marked by a bot label next to their name. When a Discord bot starts, it logs into that bot account, but not with a username and password combo like humans would, but with a login token, which is just a long string of characters. Whenever you create a bot user on Discord's developer portal, a token gets generated. You even have to click to reveal the token, further emphasizing that it's very sensitive information. Well, Discord does more than that to ensure that the bot token doesn't get leaked. Just like the bot token, I've also briefly mentioned GitHub before. Projects on GitHub are public by default, but you can also have private ones. My project was private because I didn't want my bot token to get leaked. But when I was approached by Light to code live on the bot using another site, I had to make it public so the site could actually use my project. I thought, no harm in making my project public for a short while. No one follows me anyways, right? Well, apparently Discord disagreed. Mere seconds after I had set my project to public, I got this notification. Urgent message? I had never seen this before. When I clicked on the button, I saw this message. Safety Gym here. It appears that a token for your bot, CreativeBot, has been posted on the internet. Luckily, our token scanning gremlins noticed and have reset your bot's token. I was impressed more than anything else. The fact that Discord had found my token so quickly impressed me a lot. Obviously, I had to get rid of my token from the code before I could make my project public. At first, that seemed like a simple thing to do. Just move the token to a different file and prevent said file from ever being uploaded to GitHub. And sure, that worked. But then I remembered that GitHub also lets you check the commit history. Essentially, you can view each file and its numerous iterations throughout development, which is helpful for someone making a video about it. But it was also very dangerous, considering that earlier iterations of my files included the token in plain text. So I needed to completely eradicate any mentions of the token from my commit history as well. Because I had never changed my commit history before, I consulted the internet once again. After a while, I found a tool called BFG Repo Cleaner, which did exactly what I wanted to do: remove certain strings from the commit history. And surprisingly, despite my lack of experience with GitHub, it worked. Where my token was once visible, it now just said removed. Some stuff that I didn't want to get changed also got removed, but I quickly fixed that. And with that, I could now make my project public. When I removed the token, I also made sure to remove any mentions of my database login data. At this point, I was experimenting with the currency system. The currency I came up with was called Creative Credits. Very creative, I know. For such a system to work, the current amount of credits for each user has to be stored somewhere. That's where databases come into play. They provide an easy way to store information in tables that a program can access and modify. Unlike with variables, this information persists between restarts, so restarting the bot will not reset the currency for everyone. My experience with databases up to this point was extremely limited, but I managed to set one up on my local computer and even managed to create a table where I would store all the user IDs and the corresponding amounts of credits. I decided to go with MySQL as a database, because it was the only one I had any experience with, as my father had used it many times and could help me with it. I then just needed a way to access the database on my computer with my bot. Luckily, the official Discord.js guide had me covered. They used a library called Sequelize to communicate with databases in a more natural-looking way, at least for a programmer like me. Instead of writing SQL queries like this one, you could instead use normal function calls. So after some tinkering, I managed to create functions for getting and setting a user's credits. Now I just needed a way for users to actually earn those credits. The system I came up with was extremely flawed and encouraged spam over meaningful conversations, which is why it's no longer around today. Basically, users got credit for sending messages. One character in the message earned you 1 credit. There was no cooldown for earning credits, and the slots command I mentioned earlier made it even worse. I had changed it so that it would take a bet as an input. If the user got a horizontal or a diagonal line of symbols, they would get their bet back, but multiplied by some amount. The chance of winning was 58%, so inflation quickly ensued as Light managed to gain over 100,000 credits in a few days. Today, you cannot earn credits anymore. If you want to find out how the currency system works, you'll just have to join my Discord. So now I had this functional bot, but I needed a way to keep it online 24/7. Since I didn't want to keep my PC running all day, it was time to learn about bot hosting. I found an excellent article which talks about all the options you have for bot hosting. Instead of using a dedicated service which specializes in hosting Discord bots, I decided to buy a server and host it myself. I'm a total control freak, so having anything less than total control of the server the bot is hosted on would be a nightmare for me. I got myself a $5 per month deal with the server hoster Vultr, which was highly recommended in the article. To this day, the bot sits on this server, receiving updates every once in a while. I'd like to say that bot hosting has been smooth sailing, but that would be a total lie. Well, I won't torture you with the details on that. And after all that, I'm still alive and motivated to work on the creative bot. Facing all of these challenges and conquering every single one has left me feeling very satisfied. Looking at the commit history and seeing the first initial commit made me realize how far the bot has come. How far I've come. The idea for this project came at a time when I was losing my will to code. So thank you, Light, for putting this idea in my head in the first place. And thank you, the viewer, for listening to me rambling about coding. Creator out.